Welcome to the Monday show with Bob, Randall and Company with Phineas. And of course, Angela Mack along with us today. This is our season 3 ending show, episode 35 for the year, October 14th, 2024. It's going to be a fun show, a long show. We're going to take a 4-month hiatus while we all go to work. And we're going to look at coming back around the first Monday in March. We will announce that on the group when we get that all finalized. But anyway, say hello to Randall, Santa, Checker Lee, and Mr. Phineas.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. TGIM, everybody. Yes, it is showtime. It is. Can't believe it's the last one of this season. Looking back, where did the year go already? Where did the year go? I remember just saying, let's get started. We'll get started. And man,
really amazing how fast 35 shows go by.
It's been a blur. It's been a blur, and yeah, I mean it's quite amazing. Here we are, 35.
Yeah, and with Phineas coming on board, it's going to be even that much more exciting next year. Season 4 is going to be phenomenal. We're going to continue to bring you the great content, the great something burger, the segments at the end of the show that we love to do so much, and we're excited for next season. But, we've all got to go out and go to work. Now, I did a photo shoot Saturday. It was my first one of the season. It went well. You've been doing it for a few years. The rust is kind of not really there anymore. You go in and just fall right back into the role that you know how to do so well. And I enjoyed it immensely. It was an outdoor shoot, and it was mid-90s here in the afternoon. Now, around lunchtime when we started, it was, lower 90s, but still with a full suit on. I had my vest, my long sleeve shirt, my belly pad, a t-shirt under that. I was soaking wet when it was over with. So, wow. All right, Randy.
I believe in the 90s still.
Yeesh.
And we were down in the 40s, low 40s, and windy today. It's I'm just looking forward. I got 4 days outside working this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday performing. I've been focused on the weather for that down in Ohio to see how the weather is for that. It's supposed to be sunny and in the low 70s. So I'm not too worried about today. It can be cold and blustery, but those days outside got to be a little bit warmer.
We had a cool front move through today. We're only in the 80s, but I believe it's Wednesday morning or Thursday morning. We're supposed to have a low around 49. It'll be the first time in the 40s this year for us, and we are so excited. We are ready. Wow. Phineas, how's it at the North Pole today?
Up at the North Pole, we're currently about 30 degrees, so we're just sitting below freezing, but there's quite a wind, but it's sunny all the time here, so we just have had a bit of clouds, and then I spent the afternoon in Niagara Falls, New York, and it was about 50 degrees and sunny the entire time there, so it was a good time, so.
Now, Phineas, on a regular basis, do you use Fahrenheit or Celsius up at the North Pole?
We use whatever we're talking to. So we can use Celsius, we can use Fahrenheit, we can use Kelvin even. So yeah. So given that most of the world is using metric, we usually use Celsius, but because we're talking to a lot of Americans and I'm talking to 2 Americans here, we'll use Fahrenheit. So
I guess we're the only holdout down here with the old system, with Fahrenheit, and although most of the automobiles nowadays are metric as far as the bolts and nuts and those sorts of things. So, and me having a motorcycle background, starting off in a motorcycle industry the way I was, Japanese bikes and those sort of things, German bikes, British bikes are all metric. So. I did get some schooling in that area, but the United States is still the last holdout, I guess, for not going metric all the way. Okay, guys, we got a lot to cover today, so let's just go ahead and get ready for this burger, jump into it. Let's get started. Right, we used to have 2 questions. Phineas came along. Now we got 3. Hey, today even Angela's going to get in, and we're going to have
Ooh,
4 questions.
ooh,
So,
love it,
when I
love
say
it.
we have a lot to cover, we do have a lot to cover. We're going to let Phineas start off because he wants to pick your brain. So go,
Oh,
Phineas.
okay, so in the coming season, what one thing are you looking forward to doing? So, for instance, for when I am out and about, we do a lot of walking in business improvement areas and shopping malls. And one thing that we're always getting asked about by our contractor is what level of engagement are we getting? And we're just trying to figure out how we can quantify that. So I had the fellow elves get me one of these, and this is a clicker. And so every time we meet with and talk with a family or a group of people, we just and so I can give them an exact number of the number of people that Phineas and Santa have talked to. I take an inventory of any of the handouts that we are given at the beginning, and I do a beginning total and an end total. And that way I'm able to provide a quantity of people with whom we've engaged, the number of handouts we've given, what handouts have been given, because sometimes we get those little crummy candy canes that are about an inch to 2 inches long. And then Santa and Phineas have our own handouts that we like to give too, that's a little more plush and nice and memorable and won't be eaten away. So it's a good way of being able to tell what your engagement is, how many people you've seen, if you don't have a handler with you, if you're left to your own devices. And that way you can say to your client, today that, we ran into um, we ran into about 400 or 500 children, or we ran into X number of families, and we're able to have a visit and talk with them and photos with them as well.
Wow, very good way to keep it up. Keep up the
It
without
is.
because you won't miss one just doing this.
Yep,
It's that constant counting. There's no way it'll be gone. That's
yep,
good.
yep. So it's also not very obtrusive. So when we're talking, when we're talking or they're engaging with Santa, I can just quietly click the clicker and say that there's a family of 4, and that way we're able to give our clients the number of people that we've engaged with each time, and that way they know how many, they can tell what the population that we're reaching out to is. So
Wow, good. What's your number one,
Good,
Bob?
good. Well, for me, as the question raised, what one thing are you looking forward to doing? Actually, I guess it's probably 2 for me. One is just getting back in the mall and seeing all the folks that, have religiously come back each year and made me their Santa of choice. But I think I'm most excited for my very last visit so far that will happen on Christmas Eve night. In recent years, I haven't done any home visits due to my schedule at the mall. 2 years ago, though, instead of staying till 6 p.m., they started letting us bust out of there at 4 p.m. So that gives me a little bit of extra time on Christmas Eve. Get home, have our family Christmas, our tradition that we always do, and then still be able to go out and do a home visit this year for a very sweet family.
Very good. Very good.
You,
Yeah,
Randy?
yeah. It's hard to pin down, but I mean, of course, you always, the pat answer would be the smiles, but probably when it comes to the event wise, there's a city I do called the City of Sterling Heights, and they have a big stage that it's on, and probably 2,500, 3,000 people show up. They have a band, they have all the dignitaries, they have all that kind of stuff. So behind in like the back room, I get to meet all the board and their families and all that. But then you get producing a puff of smoke through a chimney. Then you're on stage with a band, just having a riot, and halfway singing with the mic with 3,000, 2,500 people that are there. That's probably the one thing I really look forward to every year because it's so big and so much fun like that. And do the big tree lighting, the countdown, and all that. But it's a real big production. You're mic'd up and everything, and it's just a riot. So besides just having fun, can't wait to get back into the season, get back into that chair, Um, and
That's something we all are eager to do. And come the end of uh, December, last week before Christmas, I think we're all eager to get out of the chair. But what's really cool about the Santa business, Mrs. Claus, Santa Claus business, is the fact that we have such a variety of things that we can do throughout the season. Go from that single child at a home visit to doing a Santa color run where there's thousands of people, like Randy's talking about with Christmas tree lighting and singing. How much fun is that to be able to be so versatile to do so many different things and enjoy all of it as a
yeah,
cause?
that's something that intimate. You be one on one, that close with a child, or something that grand. And we have
Yeah.
the choice to do any. Be in a parade when there's thousands. You can be, like you said, Bob, just a home visit where there's one or two children. Just quick, soft, one on one. And we're very fortunate. We got a vast that we can do. It's pretty cool. It's more than pretty cool.
Hey, Phineas, there's great answers out there already. You want to go ahead and start at the top and run through those?
Yeah, AJ is looking forward to his Shop with a Hero gig on December 14th. He's really excited about that. Deborah Shepard is looking forward to just spreading joy because she feels there's not enough joy in the world, and I agree with that. Randy Neely says that they have an all-day HOA event on December 14th, and he's trying to figure out what he and his missus can do for 8 hours straight at an HOA event. So, whew.
Yeah, that's a long one.
We can talk, Randy. Message me.
Yeah, there's things to do.
There's lots of stuff that you can do. Diane Veen says being Mrs. Claus at a new event in St. Louis called Jingle for this year for 20 evenings. So good. That's a good one. So Santa Doug notes that he and Jenny Claus are blessed that they get to do such a diverse amount of different events. But the one he's looking forward to most is doing an event with a children's grief share program for children who have lost their parents, siblings, or others who are close to them. So good on you for doing that. That will be a tough, but I'm quite sure rewarding. So
Yeah. There's one
And
above
Phineas,
that.
there's
Phineas.
another one up there from YouTube, Bill Coates. I don't know if you can see that one or not.
From Bill Coates. Bill Coates is looking forward to seeing all the children and children at heart because he loves seeing their smiles. And Deborah Shepard has also further said that she's got a corporate event coming up for 200 adults. So 200 big believers.
That's fantastic. And that's what Bob said. It's such a variety. You're doing a party for 200 adults, and adult parties can be just as long as they're not like that kind of adult party, or crazy. But because they want to have fun too. They want to get their picture with Santa. They want to get their picture with Mrs. Claus. They want to remember those days, back years ago.
They want to feel the magic.
When I first got started was Helping Hands Festival of Trees. That was so much fun. It was 400 or 500 adults. It was a big event at one of the big Hilton hotels, and I so every year look forward to doing it. I did it several years before I stepped away from it, but turned it over to another Santa because I just couldn't do it anymore with my mall schedule, of course. But those corporate events are fun. I did Avon Corporation for a number of years, and that was another one that was really cool. It wasn't a public event; it was more of the folks that work behind the scenes, a corporate office, and those that was in sales, street level sales. It was a big convention for everyone to come together, announce their new products for the upcoming year, and it was always a ton of fun too.
Yeah, it's that's what's and it is. It's hard to put one thing because we were going. I'm thinking back of that family that I've done for 18 years. You just want to go see them again. You want to see what's the new baby, where somebody gone. We got to FaceTime them across this country, So those you think, well, wait a minute, that one was super cool too, So and it's just
All special in their own right. I don't care
yeah,
what they are. If we're in full Santa mode, Mrs. Claus mode, elf mode, It's just the interaction with the humans and the smiles and the love that they show and respect they show for Santa. And it just really warms my heart. I know it does you guys too. Okay, Randy, I think, let's see here. Randy Neely just put another one up for you, I think.
Yep, last year Mrs. Claus and Santa did an event for 500 senior citizens. It was so much fun. Hope they want them back. And yeah,
That is another one that is, a different type of visit, you would say, if you go to an assisted living home, or hospitals. Those are on a whole different level. But the amount of, again, respect and smiles and love that is shown by those folks, and gratitude would probably be the one word to use more than anything else. Because when they're in an assisted living home, they're pretty much, basically doing the same thing all day, every day. They may be able to go out into the common area and play cards, 42, bingo, whatever. But to see a fresh new face come through the door, number one, number two, it'd be Santa, Mrs. Claus, or an elf. That's exciting for those folks. I don't care what age they are.
They are. They just love it. They just light up like they do. They light up. It is. They want to get their pictures. And like Bob said, they're sometimes they don't get family members there that often. They don't get out of the assisted living. And for you to come in there as an elf or Santa and Mrs. Claus to give them that time, you don't know how many years they got left in assisted living. That's something they can really remember. It's another great avenue of to hit you right here. You know, it's a
It is. You start off going through the door and you go into the common area, usually, as I spoke of, and everybody there is jubilant and happy and having fun and laughing. And then you start going through these doors, and that last set of doors you go through is the terminally ill and those folks that are disconnected with life in general, just waiting their time out. By the time you leave, you go from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows. When you get in your car to drive away, the reflection, I've had to just sit there for moments and think about life in general and how the cycle of life is, and come to a realization that it's still part of who we are and what we do. It's an important part, especially for everyone involved. So
Yeah, I also always do it whenever a group of handicapped, regardless what type of handicap you want to call it, if it's mental or physical or whatever, and you do them, and it's just you need that time. But it is you got to be so thankful for what we have because they go through life every day like that. So it's but to give back to them is just priceless as far as I'm concerned. I see Steve Kinley was watching. We know we had a lot last year at the big box store. We would have a lot come in, and it was just amazing. How the smiles and what they'll remember, get their picture quick with Santa.
Yep.
I mean, it's
memories, you said it, Randy,
memories, and
memories.
that's what we need to do. That's what we want to give, that happiness, that joy for that few moments or however long it lasts in a memory, and that's
I use that on my website, creating memories that last a lifetime. And it's so true. It's a simple phrase, but it is so true in our industry.
and it doesn't matter if that lifetime is another 50 years or another 3 days, as
That's
long
right.
as you created a memory and it will last a lifetime. That is all that matters.
That's exactly right. Doesn't matter how many years because we don't know when we're being called up anyway. So we did our job and
We're
that's
servants. We're
yeah.
definitely servants. All right, Phineas, you got a couple more on there now.
Good.
Yeah, Scott Parsons said yes. Working at a long-term care home or a hospice can break you down emotionally inside, and that's why when I talk about doing hospital and healthcare work as a Christmas performer or any type of performer, I think Randy sat through one of my chats in Michigan this past summer, and I make no bones about it that it is one of the most rewarding, but it's also going to be the toughest job you will have. So I try not to sugarcoat it because I want people to understand what you could or could not see. Bill Gorbett says he can't wait to see all the faces in the long-term care home that he used to work at for residents and staff because they are his second family, and definitely. Santa Doug just said we do a photo shoot on Sunday with 7 families. and he's going to be showing children photos of Phineas and telling them what he. So, thank you, Santa Doug. Thank you, Doug. I'm
Good job,
honored.
Doug and Tina. Great job. Great job.
I do love those ones, Phineas, where you sit with all the cookies and you're like this with all the cookies, man. That is one dynamite picture.
That
Man,
was a
there's just
wonderful
cookies and
picture.
candies all around you, and you're just, wow. I love it.
Phineas doesn't even like cookies. That's the best part.
Love the picture though.
It is
World
remarkable.
renowned, world famous, the one, the only Phineas. Absolutely. Okay, Randy, I think we've run that one
we
through
got
pretty
one more
good.
there. Randy
Okay,
Neely.
there's one more.
One
Okay,
more.
there's,
Two more.
go ahead.
Two more. So Santa Randy Neely said that Mrs. Claus is helping a friend donate new jackets, gloves, socks, and to special needs group in Texas. And the Steve Kinley said the BP groups were special and really got to him, but he helped him decide to put the red suit on after seeing the interaction with Randy. So
Cool.
good.
It's like Tammy Weaver has one down there too. She says she needs to see that cookies of you.
Okay, it's posted on my Facebook page, Phineas the Foolish. So it is public. I'll throw it in the comments. So
Foolish for not liking cookies. Phineas.
Gotta like them cookies.
hey, Phineas is a salty person and he likes salty foods. So
I love that.
Makes sense.
There's one from Judy.
Judy's got one for you too. Phineas.
Judy, once in an Alzheimer unit, a lady asked Judy if she got jealous of all the ladies sitting on Santa's knee. I said no, because I'm used to it. Let's face it, Santa's just a chick magnet.
It's true.
Yeah.
More than you know.
Yeah, who doesn't like this,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, Tammy said cookie picture. I know what she was referring to. So
Fantastic.
all right, Randy, let's go ahead and jump into yours. If any more finishes pops up, we'll cover those if they come in. But
All right.
we've got a few more to do here, so let's move along.
Great. Since it's only 71 days, 71 days till Christmas, and it's all over. We've put in all this time, this schooling, this work throughout the year, and all the high times and low times that we're kind of talking about just now. Do you, as Santa, Mrs. Claus, or an elf, do you go through some type of a depression or a down thing after the holiday season? Do you get like, oh man, it's over, I don't know what I do, and do you miss that rush of what's going on? And if you do, how do you deal with it? Do you get a little depressed after the first year, after the season is over? And how do you deal with it?
Well, I'll start this one off, I guess. For me, there are so many slow days that first week or two at the mall. Busy waving and talking to folks walking by, but I mean, actual sitting in the chair and doing photos. And when I'm sitting there on a Monday morning when the mall looks like it's closed down and nobody's there, even though it's open, my mind is thinking about what I've got to do coming up after Christmas. And the one thing that's carried me for years is knowing that I get to travel afterwards. That's part of earning that extra money at Christmas time is to be able to take a little trip. And up until last year, we would go to the mountains, Durango, Colorado, for a week between Christmas and New Year's. And it always just, it was exciting to get through the season and be able to know we were going to travel on Christmas Day and head up that way. But last year, didn't have that because we had North Pole Cornerstones and we had to jump right back in. We took 2 days off and jumped right back in and worked all the way up until the event started. So we were busy in meetings every day. If it wasn't a total group meeting, it was individual meetings, planning our presentations, planning what we were going to do. And going to be the same way this year. And then you throw in Super Santa Sunday the week after that. So this is going to be really a crazy year for me.
So there will be no time to kind of decompress or get
time.
or kind of drop off from the character or the high for you.
No, and then after we get out of Super Santa Sunday, the second week in February, then we look forward to Gatlinburg coming up right after that. And we no more get back home from Gatlinburg and Branson comes up. And then we've got other events that we're going to try to come to this year. We want to come to Michigan really bad, at least once for one of you guys' event up there. And so, I mean, it's just the whole year is almost planned out already, plus the shows.
Yeah, yeah. How about you, Phineas? Well, you still perform after first year anyway, but how do you
So we continue until Orthodox, or the Greek Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox, because we have quite a large community here in Canada. So I do that, and then immediately after that, I've got North Pole Cornerstones, and then about a month or two after North Pole Cornerstones, Phineas and Lee Andrews will be teaching at Clowns of America International in Denver this year. So we will be doing a special pre-day for Christmas performers or clowns interested in becoming Christmas performers. So expect to see Santa Lee and Phineas leading that, as well as the normal stuff you do at clown conventions. And then after that, I hope to make it to Branson. So we shall see. We shall see.
it's like I could maybe years ago, maybe this was a thing bigger years ago when after the first year, kind of everything was over. But now, because the Santa, Elf, Mrs. Claus industry really doesn't stop, maybe it's not as big a thing as it was. That after the first year, I mean, we get our suits cleaned, we hang it up, and we're just us. I guess maybe it's not as uh, dramatic as it used to be. I mean, the rush maybe might be, but you guys are saying, boom, you're right back to it. Right back
Good.
to
And then Santa and Phineas, we do our live streams on Facebook Live. So we do an Easter live stream where Phineas gets loaned out to the Easter Bunny, and that's usually a wild show for everybody. And then we do our Summer Santa show as well. So yeah.
We're all busy. And I didn't mention that, we have planned to make Navarre Beach, Florida, an annual event, a real Santa, Mrs. Claus elf vacation. And have invited anyone who can afford to come down and spend a few days on the beach with us. So, I mean, it's just like nonstop, man.
wow. So I guess there is no stopping. That's great. But let's see what everybody else is doing.
Okay.
Scott Parsons says, I get down and let vacation go down south for vacation. I don't
South
blame
of
you.
vacation.
That's what I'm doing. I fly out January 2nd and getting away for a little while. That's what I'm doing. That's Mr. Hot Wing Trivia Man, AJ. AJ actually on reindeer games actually made money for the cause, and he was eating some hot wings.
We're saying that was
Bill,
a very, very good thing you did, AJ. Proud
good
of you,
job,
man.
AJ, man, for doing it for the children. Bill Coates says, don't get down. I attempted to keep the spirit alive throughout the entire year. All my doctors know me as Santa. See, that's cool. If we can keep that spirit and our feeling in our hearts that way, whoops, wrong side. This is the right side. Would actually be the left side if you really think about it, but correct side. That is a great thing to do, Bill. Fantastic. And then Randy Neely's next. It's easier to read here. January is a down month for me because of all the beautiful lights. Christmas spirit is gone. It's just a memory for many. Yes, thank God for the North Pole Cornerstones. It will help us much. We met Phineas and Patrick for the first time. Can't wait to see them again. And I think it's a cool thing you're doing, especially in North Pole in January or the end of January, February, because this is maybe the depression or the Santa letdown or Mrs. Claus letdown is not happening because it's keeping it rolling.
That's true. And that's something that Judith, myself, Deanna, Scott, Chrissy, we all talked about in the beginning was uh, we want to be the first out of the gate each year. We want to not have that letdown time to be able to come right back and start learning and keep what you learned from the season fresh in your mind and then go in and try to refine that and just that was just one of the ideas that we had when we started. So
Makes great sense. In fact, here's Judith here. She put one in, Judith Broderick. I believe Santa of America. Oh, I'm sorry. Santa of America will be there for the symposium in September 2025. I could be mistaken, she says.
I've heard the same thing, Judy. I think it's going to be Santa America is definitely going forward. And Judy had mentioned to me earlier, and a couple of other folks come to me earlier, a couple of months back, and wanted me to bring on the new director on the Tuesday Night Live show. That will be one of our early segments next year. If we can work that out, we're going to have him on, introduce himself, and let everyone know the state of Santa America and going forward with that.
Very good. Very good. Next one is Sean White. Sean didn't recognize me the last the Michigan Expo. She walked right by me, didn't say a word, didn't say hi. That's okay, Sean. She did then when she turned around and I started talking to her. But Sean does say, I will fight the sadness and looking forward to North Pole Cornerstones. I get to have wonderful conversations with friends who do what I do, presenting at the Santa family reunion at SOS after teaching too. So she's doing the same thing. She's just staying busy. There'll be a little letdown. And I kind of agree with Randy before. All the lights are gone. You see all that joyous stuff. That kind of is maybe a letdown more than because I tell you, Christmas lights are gorgeous.
Well,
To
and
me.
Randy and Debbie are two of our volunteers at Cornerstones, and they are part of the crew with my wife Carol that put up the Christmas trees and decorations. So that's a great way for Randy to get over it.
Sean says, I hope the Zoom shows will keep going on Thursdays. Yes. Tuesday night, TNL Productions definitely wants to keep all 4 days going, starting in March. So,
and to mention, we've also got Sean teaming up with a couple of our other folks at Cornerstone. She will be doing a presentation there, and we may even expand that a little bit more, Sean, if you're willing. But we've got 99% of the curriculum put together. Now we're just going to fine tune it. So.
Very good. Okay, Joseph Cunningham. Hi guys, it's been a while. My knee is doing great. You had knee surgery, I take it. I had a great time with many of the children at Costco. School's out and school is out and Santa was in the building shopping with them. There's nothing better than doing shopping with the children. That is so cool. But at a Costco. They took the children to Costco shopping. That's interesting. That's history.
They get all the free samples, so they don't have to worry about dinner, right? So
there's plenty of free samples. That's true. Jerry, good to see you. Judith, Carl, good. Hey, Carl, how are you, Mr. Blue Eyes? And there we go. Good. I think I got everybody. I think I didn't miss anybody, did I, Andrew? Did I miss anybody from YouTube or whatever? Maybe not. That one in there is there. Yeah, I'm thankful to hear that it's not as, and I would say prevalent as it was maybe years ago. About after the first year, I mean, I would hear kind of not rough stories about guys going, "Oh man, this is terrible." So it's great that it's just keeps on going.
Yeah,
we're not coming from high to.
Well, I think it's a good thing because it all gives us something to look forward to, and we know that our brothers and sisters are going to be there. Anytime that birds of a feather flock together, we all are happy and are able to share stories, and that's always good. And again, rolling right out at the first of the year, all those memories from Christmas are there because I know for me, I see so many children. There's so many stories I could tell, and I wished I had been smart enough to try to journal each night when I got home. I didn't, but there's stories that I have forgotten, but someone will say something that will trigger that thought. Oh, I remember this visit, and so it's good. It's good for us all to be able to stay active, keep our mind busy, and keep our talents, learning our talent and craft even that much more.
And that's the thing. We don't stop. We don't stop learning. And that's what's cool about everybody that shows up here and Tuesday Night Live and whatever else, go to the classes. Man, that shows that the heart and the care about learning and growing is phenomenal with everybody. It's just, man, they want every performance to be top notch if they're doing all this all the time.
Our profession has got more professional as we went on. We've all learned our craft more and more and more. There's more there to learn, more people to share, more schools to go to. So, I think our industry just keeps taking it to the next level, next level, next level. So, looks like Sean's got one on there
Yep.
for
Sean
you.
says, actually, I'm auditioning for Mamma Mia in December. So January starts rehearsals. So you're going to
Yeah.
Mamma Mia. Very cool. And then Trey Taylor says that's a great thing about talking and learning with each other. That is, Trey. I mean, to learn from your fellow brothers and sisters in red. Actually, all right, Phineas, I've got to ask. We say brothers and sisters in red, Mr. and Mrs. Claus. How can we add that easily to brothers and sisters and with red shoes, the curly toes? We got to figure out that because it's brothers and sisters in red, easy to do that, but we don't want to leave you out because, I mean, we got to come up with an easy thing to add to that.
I don't know. I don't know. Christmas performers? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll just leave it as Christmas performance. That probably is a much easier line to say than just brothers, but it is exactly what he said. It is great to spend that time with fellow Christmas performers. It really is. It
I think
boosts
that's
you
the
up,
best way to put it.
educates you, makes you feel good that we're in a great community. So,
Okay, well, that was a good segment. Let's move along. Got two more questions. We're only halfway through this segment, so let's go ahead and throw mine in here next. How many of you promote your character through Christmas for extended cultural celebrated seasons? How many of you have gigs after December 25th, and how many different cultural celebrations do you attend each year?
wow. Phineas does. He does the Orthodox one, so that's
Phineas
I,
mentioned that
I
already. What else, Phineas?
I do the Orthodox one. I've done a couple of Diwali celebrations for the Hindi community, and I do a lot of work with the folks who celebrate the winter solstice. So that can be the pagan crowd and the artsy crowd. So Toronto has a very large winter solstice celebration where they march through the streets and they light a bonfire in one of the city parks, and it's just a remarkable celebration of returning of the light after the longest night of the year. So it's very fun. It's very celebratory. So
That is something that you guys, those guys up in Canada, I'm not saying you, but
you got.
for the Canadian brothers, sisters, and curly toes or pointed ears, whatever you want to call them, that you guys do is, and that's the celebration, that I don't think there's that many, maybe in the northern states. Randy may be able to attest this more than I can, but I mean, I know down here in the South, we don't do those type of celebrations really that I'm aware of. There may be some.
Yeah, I don't think we do as much as Canadian things. A little bit because we're that close. Now, isn't today, particularly in Canada, is today Thanksgiving for you guys?
today is Thanksgiving.
Today
Yeah,
is Thanksgiving
yeah.
for Canada. That's what I thought today was.
Yep.
So things are a little different, but
It is different culture there.
But we have a big multicultural society here in Canada, and we try to celebrate them. So in the city of Hamilton, where Phineas and Santa David work quite a bit, we've got a large Dutch community. So we actually celebrate St. Nicholas Day on December 5th, and then there's a large German community. So there's Krampusnacht on December 6th. And yes, Phineas works with Krampus on the 6th of December, and that's a very fun and intense night. It's just if you get a community that's pretty multicultural, that has a wide variety of communities living within it, you're able to celebrate the things that those communities celebrate. So it's very lucky, and it allows Phineas to be present in different cultures. So
It's so cool.
that's very cool. Yeah, the only thing I've done on Christmas Day throughout my years was just started a couple years ago with the mother-in-law when she was in a home, and I went and visited her and her, doing the retirement thing on Christmas. So I've done that a couple of years. And the only time I've done anything after Christmas or to publicize is when virtual was the thing. I mean, really crazy. It was the talking to them after. Did you enjoy your stuff I gave you for Christmas? The gratitude or whatever they wanted to call it at that time. I did a lot then, but since then I don't really do any of the Orthodox. Don't do any. Basically, Christmas Eve after that house, I do the Santa house during the day. A couple of house parties. Suits get hung up till they go to the cleaners, and hit church at 11 o'clock and spend Christmas Day with the family. So I don't. I think it's a cool thing. There's a lot of Santas out there that will work on Christmas Day and everything else, which is
Work all the way through the first week and a half, 2 weeks of
they
January,
do.
Sunday.
January, yeah.
And it's a great market if you have those type of families around you, as the Canadians do have the diversity in culture. For us down here, Texas has become predominantly Hispanic, so we don't have the Dutch celebrations or German celebrations or those sort of things that we were talking about a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Trey Taylor says, I've learned so much from other Santas just to add to what I do. And Trey, that's exactly what this program is all about. We're here to share and try to elevate everyone else, helping each other learn the craft better than we already know it. I mean, that's what we strive to do. Trey also says, I've done June birthdays and parties in July, not very much though. And that's a good point. I have done birthday parties. And it's something that you can do the rest of the year. Of course, performed as Easter Bunny as a fill-in a couple of years ago. That was fun. Enjoyed doing that too. But it's mainly we were talking about the cultural events. And I think Phineas takes the cake on that one.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know Dr. Bruce Kotovich, Bruce Guerin, he's multicultural, and he has mentioned on the Tucson Live Show a couple of different things about Western Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox, Russian. His family was mixed, so they celebrated both, which is really cool for him because that drove him towards St. Nicholas as well as Santa Claus, and he is such a performer of both of those and has the characters down so well in the history. So he's another great one to pick your brain if you need to. He's always open to help.
Maybe that character being of Saint Nicholas would be a character that would help expand those types of performances. But that's a totally different world. I mean, you really,
it is.
I mean, besides your white beard and all that, but you, it's not what you want for Christmas. It's not any of that stuff. It's totally, but it's all spiritual and all that, which is wonderful. So,
yeah.
I think that could open up a few avenues for people that want to do something there, cross-cultural or extended cultural shows instead of just all children, or adults or as Santa. So, yeah. So it's
right. We're going to let Angela come in here, and she's going to speak loud, and my microphone's going to pick up her question. But she has a question for you for the season-ending show here. Go ahead, Angela.
Okay, for those of you in an area where winter has hit with a vengeance during the holiday season, have you ever had to cancel, postpone, or been late due to weather? How did you or how would you handle such a situation?
Hey, you guys up north, y'all have to deal with weather more than we do down here. So this is a great question for y'all.
And it's the worst thing to think about. Wait a minute. How can Santa not make it to an event with too much snow? It's almost impossible to explain. I've run late at a couple things because of the roads being thing, but I've personally never canceled anything or not made it. Well, I shouldn't say that. There was one I was making my way to, and it was probably an hour drive or more than that because of the weather. They contacted me on the way. They canceled the event. I'm like, I'm never going to make it. I'm going to be an hour late plus getting there. but they contacted me, said they canceled the event, going, whew, Santa can't cancel the event, cannot be there because of the too much snow. So I was fortunate on that one. I have been late, and you just I've just told them, I apologize. I called the event, I apologize that, the last event kept me a little longer and we're getting there, but we'll be there, so I guess I'll knock on wood or whatever. I have not missed. The only one I was going to probably miss was canceled. Thank goodness. So you don't. It is a. That's why you can't do this. Show ends at 12. Your next one is at 12:30. Or even 1 o'clock's hardly enough time to, especially in certain cities, of course. Or you can't take that chance. Now, there's been years I never had a bit of snow. Some years, I mean, we didn't get snow until January, but you don't know that until it's too late. So you just have to the old beg forgiveness or come up with like we're taught, come up with a good story why you're late. So.
We're very much the same here in Hamilton. Is that if we're scheduling multiple gigs, we will make sure that we've got, depending on where they are geographically, because we will schedule in enough time to get there comfortably without being in a rush when the weather is perfect. Versus, when, you can't ever take a powder on what the weather's going to be. I won't even say missed, because very much like Randall, we didn't miss it. They canceled it while we were heading over because the family could not get to where they were located. And then there was one where they decided, just as we were about ready to head out, they asked if we could do it virtually over Zoom for them. And so it was a quick negotiation, who's going to set up the Zoom, and we agreed to do it with Zoom, which was wonderful because Santa got to do it from his workshop in the comfort of his own study. Phineas got to do it from the barns at the North Pole, and we still got the same visit and everything like that. The only thing that they missed out on were the handouts. So it's just basically being like a Boy Scout, prepare for the worst and hope it doesn't happen. And, if you have to sit, drive around the block for 15 minutes because you got there super early because the weather wasn't awful, that's a bonus. And or sometimes Santa and Phineas do like to stop for Starbucks to fuel up. So.
Yeah, but you just never know when that comes up. Or, I mean, it couldn't maybe even not snow. It can be an accident that happens, or construction on a highway you're going across. There's many things that can make you late. Like Phineas and I said, just make sure you have enough time in between there to make it comfortably. That really helps, especially when we do it. I do it with Santa, make sure that I have plenty, even more time in between. And you always learn that kind of the hard way, and you're rushing because even though, let's say you are booking a show from 6 to 7, you're not really out exactly at 7 and in your car and driving. You're really not. Same with like when I do my magic and all that, my show's for an hour until 7 o'clock. I got to pack up, load the car, walk to the car, it's 7:15, 7:20 when you're all done. So it's not 7 o'clock. You're driving from 7 o'clock. You're driving from 7:15 or 7:20 to the next performance. So you've got to put that into aspect, or if you got to find a little girl's room, you've got to do so many things. Or the biggest thing, like Angela asked about, is about the road situation. On the northern half of the country has that problem. So.
Yeah, I tell you, down here, if it ices a quarter of an inch or snows a half inch, the whole North Texas shuts down. Schools let out for a week. Nobody goes anywhere. In anticipation leading up to it, they empty the shelves at the grocery store because they know they're going to be locked down for a week or so. Now, one year, I think it was my third year at the mall, we had a big ice storm. It was really, really, really bad. I don't even remember what the total amount of ice was, but it was quite a mess. And me only being a mile from my mall, we were able to take the back roads and get there. And I go in, usual time, get dressed, go out, the mall is still shut down. Nobody's there, not a soul. So come find out the mall wasn't going to open till 2 that day. And I didn't know it. I didn't call to check. I just assumed get there on time. So I just ended up laying down in my big green chair and took a nap. So until the mall started opening, they have the raised up gates and doors and things, and it starts making noise when people start, starting around in there. So,
Yeah, it's
but you never know.
you never know. You can,
Never
and
know.
we want to cover because we don't want to disappoint because we're late, or because being late then can snowball and cause problems with a lot of corporate events, or if you're doing a gig for an agency or whatever, it can cause a lot of problems. So,
Yeah.
so
So Angela Jerry Kyle
yep.
says had to de-ice the reindeer would be one excuse. Trey Taylor says sleigh had a flat. It's another excuse. Deborah Kaiser says couldn't gather up all the reindeers. They were, obviously out having a good time playing in the ice and snow, and they didn't want to go pull the sleigh. Paul Anderson, another Canadian up there near the Hamilton area, had to cancel a home visit Christmas Eve due to roads getting to them were impassable. Good point, Paul.
I remember that Christmas Eve. That was the one where Santa David and I ended up doing the home visit from our homes specifically. The roads were impassable everywhere. So
Sean White says, I watch the weather religiously, leave and be very early always. This year I will be spending the night in Ohio rather than traveling on bad roads. Make sure your vehicle is well taken care of. It's very stressful. I've never missed or been late, always early, knock on wood. That is part of Randy's checklist, and I know Gordon Bailey had a checklist that curtailed basically the same type of things as your medications, your gas, your car up, make sure it's full, keep it full, make sure your tires are inflated. Now, there's a whole host of things that you can do, and when it comes to weather related, Sean has the best idea. Leave extra, extra early. It's easier to sit out in the car and listen to a little bit of music and kind of relax or even get your mind wrapped around what your visit will be than trying to be stressed out when you get there 5 minutes late. As much as we are all professionals at what we do, it's really easy to get flustered and stressed out to the point that you're almost off your game by the time you get there. So
Yeah,
keep
that's
that.
that's what you need to do. You need to make sure you have time to keep your composure instead of being all, you're white knuckled and you're nervous to getting there. That takes away from our performance, regardless how good of energy you are. That will take away from your performance a little bit. So give it. I mean,
And,
sometimes we can't. It's just, but it's the old Boy Scout or Cub Scout, whatever the saying is. Always be prepared. So,
and
yep.
Randy and Phineas made a good point in that do not schedule your events too close together. Even if the weather's nice, 2 months before you schedule it, you got to still be thinking ahead at what will the weather be like that date that you're agreeing to that event, and always building enough time in between. And sometimes you may need to stop and grab you a bite to eat or bottles of water or whatever. Just build in extra time.
we
Doug,
always
right here in North Texas, says we always have the mom and dad's cell phone number, and if we run into an issue like accidents or traffic, we text them to let them know we are running late. No snow in Texas, but we can get ice. This is true. I mean, not that we don't get snow, we do occasionally. It's not very often. Our biggest problem down here is the ice storm, sleet, and freezing rain. And boy, I tell you, I don't care how good you are, it's hard to drive on that stuff when you don't have the experience of doing it. Snow, it's not too bad. Most folks can slow down and at least navigate their way. Well, I rescind that. They can't in North Texas.
Yeah, I mean, even what Doug said, it's not necessarily if you guys don't get ice. I mean, Florida same way, but there can be an accident on the highway. The highway can be backed up for hours. I mean, you're gonna be late if you got hours, but I mean, there's other things that can happen above and beyond the bad weather. We just happen to have accidents in bad weather, the northern half of the country. So you've got to really plan ahead. But that's what Bob and Phineas also said. Make sure there's plenty of time because you don't know what's going to happen between point A and point B. to be there on time. And I know we want to fill our schedule up, and somebody wants Santa, and you hate to say no. Okay, I'll be there because your event ends at this time. I'll be there. But don't make it rough. So
one thing we try to do if we're booking multiple gigs during a day, like if we're going to do a day of home visits, we try to schedule. Today will be the home visit day for this general area. So we try to schedule the home visits so they're all in a close area. So you can just go in a big circle. Because I live in a city where to drive from one place in the city to another place in the city, it's an hour no matter what. So it's an hour drive from anywhere within the city. So you do the best you can. So if you keep it to one general small geographical portion of the city, you can do on Thursday, we're doing this neck of the woods. We'll do this on Friday and do this on Saturday. So we try doing it that way.
That's a great point. Bill Gorbett says, I normally only book one event per day, so I plan for bad weather. Dana Prostrollo says, we have had events canceled because of heavy rain. Joseph Cunningham says, I had more issues with dense fog. I got there, though, always plan for the worst. That's right. You never know when fog may roll in, especially on those coastal regions or around the Great Lakes. It's a real threat. Santa Cruz says, hello, I'm late today. Good to see you, and especially Angela on video this week. Thanks, Chris. And yeah, she's on, but she's over there still being busy as she always is. Ernie has joined us. David Earl Millmine. Hi, kids. Canadian calling. Santa David. Looks like Judy and Deborah's got to run. They said they would catch up later. Love for all Judy says. Ernie says, spent an hour on the phone with producers from HBO. Hey, that's a good thing. A good problem to have, Ernie. All right. You know what? That covers it. Hey, that was a 1 hour segment. Pretty close to it. I mean, it's 3:58. So
wow.
Let's go ahead and run along. Thank you, Angela, for that question. And it's nice seeing your face on camera, as everyone said.
Yes, it is always great seeing
It's
Angela.
always nice, Angela.
She's the backbone of all this.
Now I'm gonna disappear.
She's going to disappear. She says so. All right. While you're disappearing, go ahead and push the button and let's watch our santascloset.org, and we'll be back with trivia.
Hey everyone, Angela Mack here for Bob, Randyl and Company Live, the show about nothing. Season 3 of Bob, Randyl and Company Live is brought to you by santascloset.org, where you can find all your accessories for the discriminating Santa, Mrs. Claus, and the elves. Visit Santa Wade's website at santascloset.org today, where they are known for delivering unique, value-packed Santa and Mrs. Claus accessories since opening in 2004. The goal has always been to provide both a superior customer experience at a tremendous value. Their products are fairly priced, and Santa Wade strives to bring many different products to the Claus community. Visit the website and make your next season a truly special one. This is Angela Mack reminding you all to catch our show every Monday at 3 p.m. Central. Thanks for watching. Now let's get back to Bob, Randyl and Company Live and today's Monday Santa's Closet Trivia.
Quick thoughts here. We want to thank, of course, Wade and Scarlett. I'm sure they had a fantastic time this weekend. I know, Randy, you guys were up there and was able to enjoy their booth and their company. They're always fun to hang out with. But you will get a gift from Santa's Closet. Be the last one of the year because this is our last show for the year. But remember, your name also goes in the hat for the NPC Cornerstone Scholarship given away by the whole TNL network here. And that drawing will be November 5th, our last show for Tuesday Night Live. So we have a few more shows left for the Tuesday. Randy, over to you, brother.
Well, great. Thank you so much. Again, this is the Fun Day Monday for movie title and year. Now, we have two quotes. The first quote is, God bless us, everyone. The second quote is, son of a nutcracker. So they've got two. God bless us, everyone. Now, I'm going to just help you out a little bit on number one. That's been said in many different times. we're looking for only one certain time that was given. Maybe but 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 yeah, not on Charlie Brown and Snoopy. Okay, let's do that. But again, those are two quotes. God bless us, everyone, and son of a nutcracker. Cool. We need the date. We need the movie and the year the movie came out. The first one, multiple, but we need just one.
There could be. We're looking for the one that was very early on.
Yep, very early on, not
in
Early.
the Christmas movie genre.
because they even did it in the Mr. Magoo one. They even did it in the Flintstones one. All the cartoon ones, they were all in, but that's not the one we're looking for.
You did it in the Muppets. Yep.
This is an actual
Muppets, yes.
movie production. Yes. I laugh at the Son of the Nutcracker because those two statements are almost, total opposites. God bless us, everyone, and then son of a nutcracker.
That's very true.
I had to have fun coming up with that one. It was fun for sure.
We need the movie and the year those movies came out. So need both.
Guys.
And both.
Good luck, have fun, and see if you can come up with the correct. God bless us, everyone that we're looking for. Well, like we say, it's early on. Just remember that.
Early on. That one, we already told you it wasn't from the Flintstones. It wasn't from Mr. Magoo. It wasn't from the Muppets. So those are some of the newer ones. But still a ton of it. It wasn't from the Disney one. So
we got a comment from Parker in YouTube saying that he can't believe it's the last show already. So
I can't either. I mean,
we
probably could have snuck another week out of it next week, but there's so much going on that we decided to pop it back one more. Yep. So
because tomorrow night we have Cherry Hill, which we'll talk about here in a minute, but the following 3 weeks for the TNL programming is labor intensive, putting those shows together. And so, I mean, it's just best that we jump on out and open up a little bit of more time to devote to the last 3 shows of TNL. And then, like I said, we'll be back, somewhere around the beginning of March. And we'll let everyone know that on the Facebook group. So
all new fun stuff and some different things are going to be going on. You wait and see.
And not to mention that Bob and I have work already too. So
yeah. Well, and I got another shoot Saturday. So
Yep.
Albeit just one day out of the 7, but that one day is normally a day's worth of programming.
Yep.
Putting the program together. So anyway. All right, here we go.
Uh-oh. Sounds like it's out of tune there, Phineas.
Yep.
If it wasn't, it is now.
Oh, it will be in tune.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Dropping it there will make
Got a
it
great neck there.
We'll do good here. So
yeah.
I want to say thank you to Larry Talbot for his Talbot Insurance Services contributing to the TNL production network, and we thank you so much for that. All right, real quick, we want to hit on this because we again have still so much more to cover. North Pole Cornerstones, npcornerstones.com. Go over there and check out the website because everything, the curriculum, the different title subjects, Deanna's been working all week long updating that. So go over there and check that out. Lots of information to see. Again, that is January 30th, February 2nd, 4 full days in P Cornerstones. And we can't forget Branson this year with Lee Andrews, July 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th, School of Santas. All right, Randy, go ahead and jump in and grab the next couple here.
Here we go, guys. Yep, it's near the end of course, Tuesday Night Live. Today is our last Monday, but of course, we've got only 4 more shows left of Tuesday Night Live. Tomorrow night, October 15th, is Cherry Hill will be here. The ladies that run Cherry Hill will talk to us about how many more opportunities. They have plenty of opportunities. They employ over 1,000 Santas every year throughout the states and Canada and all that. So there's plenty of opportunities. They're still looking for part-time. They're still looking for somebody that might be able to travel someplace. But they'll tell you all about that tomorrow night, October 15th on Tuesday Night Live from Cherry Hill program. That's it's always good if you want to fill in some stuff or whatever. Of course, then October 22nd is the 4th annual roundtable. Always so much fun. There'll be round. We're only in square boxes. Are we going to do a round table in square boxes, Bob? Well, we'll figure it out. Okay. But there'll be a panel of experts, of course, here to answer any questions. We ask if you want to get some questions, just IM us, text us, email us some questions you're concerned about. We'll talk about getting ready for the business, of course, the holiday season. A huge list of very talented, experienced entertainers, holiday entertainers, performers that are going to be there. It's a great list. There are 6, 7, 8 people plus are going to be on the show that day. So all types of definitely people that have a diverse also knowledge of the business. That's the 22nd. Then the 29th is just always such a hoot every year. It's the Halloween special, the 29th. Please make sure you get your picture in to Bob or a little blurb about that you want to be a part of the show. We'll fit in times through the day, the night, to get you in, talk about your character. Again, you can't be Santa. You can't be Mrs. Claus. And I guess, I don't know if we decided this or not, if you can be Santa if you're Mrs. Claus, or you're Mrs. Claus if you're Santa. That I don't know if we're really allowed. I don't think Santa's going to want to keep this off to be Mrs. Claus. But come up with there's so many unique costumes out there. There's been great throughout the years, but it's always been a hoot to do the Halloween costumes, and there's prizes and just a lot of fun. So that's on the 29th. Then I can't believe the last show of the year, November 5th, will be the season ending wrap up show for Tuesday Night Live. That's November 5th, the final show of the year before we are busy. Remember that from one of the Halloween, Christmas specials. So that will be November 5th. Can you believe that? 4 left. That will gotta be close to 200 shows now, Bob, or 190 Tuesday Night Lives, at least probably. And remember, guys, there always have been and always will be. Come on, Phineas. I know you. There you go.
I've got over to make Spangle happy.
There you go. All right. Of course, we all know everything.
Fantastic.
We all know it's not free. It's thank goodness to Spangle and Santa Clauset and Talbert and everybody else that has contributed throughout the years to make this show run. But watching it is, and learning and everything else is. So, but guys, please join us the last 4 Tuesday Night Lives of the season. Join us.
Yeah. Okay, real quick, I want to address Paul Anderson said he was having a problem regarding hotel reservation website. Paul, I will PM you as soon as the show is over with. Basically, what we have to do there is if you have already made reservations for dates of any sort, then I can just take your reservation number and we can call it a hotel and have it extended before and after, which is available for the same rate. We've called down there several times and asked them to get that straightened out, and they're having some issues with it, but we will take care of it. Make sure you get all the days that you want for the discounted rate there, Paul. So I'll get with you after the show. All right, you know what? I think it's time to get our shovels out, guys. Ready?
Oh,
Here we go.
let me get it. I'm slacking here. Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Digging Deeper with Phineas, and I'm Phineas, and I'm got the shovel out, and I'm about ready to start digging. Anyways, we're all about ready to start our upcoming season, and many of us have attended events like Charles W. Howard, the ISC in Memphis this past year. Maybe some folks have taken a couple of other training opportunities like Kringle University or the Santa Master Academy in Ohio or Christmas Performer Workshop. So we're all constantly learning new things, and we're all trying to figure out how we're going to apply new things. So my question for you is, what one thing have you learned over the past year that you hope to bring into your portrayal this upcoming season? If so, how will you incorporate it into your portrayal? And what do you look forward to do in trying this out? So, for instance, this past year, because I have attended Christmas performer workshops, learning advanced storytelling from Santa True, I have attended a couple of the MAPS events and learned from folks like Randyl and Santa Chris. So there's lots of things I learned. But what I've been working on is I've been working on my storytelling. And I really hope to be able to use the storytelling skills I've learned from Santa True and also from some other storytellers that I've taken courses from, and hope that I'll be able to use those to enhance my portrayal, enhance supporting Santa. We typically do a story time event for a number of our big contracts. So I'm always looking forward to learning new ways to present stories, to tell stories, and make sure that there's something interesting and fun. So, what you have learned in the past year that you're really excited to bring forth with you. So,
Oh,
Yeah, I will chime in really quick on that one. I've always read "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." Always have, and I still try to do it as animated as I can. But this year, I'm going to do it storytelling instead.
nice.
Literally do it without the book. I never took the time to memorize. I mean, I pretty much know it anyway, but I won't even use the book. I'll just stand there and tell it. So do it and try to get them to feel the warm fireplace and everything else, and the stockings, because were hung, just the beautiful fur on top of the stockings were hung by adding those things in to do it as a story. So that's what I'm excited to have some fun doing that with this family that I've done for years, and they always want to hear the Night Before Christmas. I didn't do it one year, and they go, "Wait a minute, you didn't." So this year I'm going to do the storytelling of it, which is same as reading it, but maybe a little bit more because I have to enhance it a little bit more, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. And I'm going to probably do it standing up, which is something you brought up with Robert, Santa True, how to keep that posture. Even though I've learned it for years, it's reminds you to keep that posture, to keep that, because Santa's bigger than life about that. So, but it's going to be even though I'm telling the same story, it's telling the story and letting them feel the story in their heart and their brain, seeing it and not looking at pictures. So that's going to be a big one for me. Cool. Anybody else got it?
Trying to take care of Paul Anderson here. I'm sorry.
Oh. But that is and there's, like Phineas said, there's so many schools and there's so many things to learn. What can, and we all want to add something every year to our performance. And we all do, and some things we don't even know we add. We just learn it, and it just all of a sudden is there. So, but that
another course I took an improv course, and so I was able to better apply active listening and working with other people and just being able to go with the flow with what they provide me, what they give me. So I'm really looking forward to doing more playing that way. So Joseph Cunningham has said that he has learned so many stories from Steve Gillum and others, and he's adapting them for preschoolers, keeping the substance but simplifying and adding appropriate songs for him to sing. So excellent.
You know, so many our teachers, you know, our instructors say, take my story. That's what I'm here for. I'm teaching it to you. But sometimes I feel weird to take the whole thing because they spent years to perfect that story, perfect that whole thing. So, but then I don't want to divulge from it too far because that isn't, you know, sometimes there's some things you have to make your own, you know, that,
And I think that's the key of it, is that yes, you may borrow their story or take their story, but you've got to make it real for you and true to yourself and how you would present it, because Steve Gillum's got a very particular, and he's got a very particular way of talking. And yeah, buddy, you know, it's you got to make it yourself. And so that's good. Ken Kringle over on YouTube has said, not something learned from a school, but a YouTube video making potions that inspired him to make miniature props for himself. So he has made emergency milk and cookies that he's going to be using as a prop for himself. And he's looking, it's been a hit so far. So good on you, Ken. Excellent. Excellent.
good.
Yeah.
Very good. Because there's so many things to do. I mean, and there's so many things to do. Where do you stop about putting too much into your show? Somebody earlier said about what can I do for 8 hours? Oh boy, there's just I got to figure out what I get rid of for hour, you know, for all this time, you know,
Well, that was
what I don't want to do.
One of my friends I work with has a mantra: simplify and do everything. And it's do more, but do less at the same time. And so you just learn to do the balance. And so there we go.
Very cool.
Yep.
Now, I don't know how many of you, you know, we were talking about stories a moment ago. I don't know how many of you have seen Shirley Winter's presentation. She's down in School of Santa. She'll also be at Norfolk Cornerstones this year doing the same presentation. But it's about how for so long we've been told, as Randy mentioned, memorize a poem or a story and tell it. But she says you don't have to do that, that reading can be fun and interactive. And her presentation is all about how you can still read a book.
Yep.
and make it, like I say, fun and interactive. And so that's the one thing that I've taken this year that I want to work on more, is because I'm terrible at memorizing stuff. I've always been that way. Had trouble in school trying to memorize things. I mean, it's just always a battle for me to retire. I can read it 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, and I can retain parts of it, but not enough of it to make it kosher, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And with her presentation of how you look at the book, how you tell stories off the pictures and incorporate the story itself in, is to me fascinating. And I can't wait to see her presentation in full again in January and February.
Yeah, there's so many people that when I was first taught how to, let's say, the night before Christmas, because I just love it. We always used to go, not a creature was stirring, not even and you'd stop. Of course, people would interact back a mouse. Now that was cute, that was fun, but that's just, to me, right, you know, for years that's just not enough. It's got to be more. That's why I had those few props that I show, you know, little mice coming out or whatever you do, just to add to the variety of the same. Again, it's just a poem. Also, the Night Before Christmas is a poem, right? And they say it is just a poem. It's really not. It's really not a book or a story. It's a poem, right? Because it is in the rhythmic. So,
Yeah.
But it's not easy to memorize, and I never have. But this year, that is something I want to do. So I'm going to do it.
I could get through the first few courses on it, memorize it, but then after that, it gets all jumbled in my head, and I don't know where to pick it up at. So I can start off not reading it and get to a certain point, and then I've got to go into the book.
See, I skipped circle the head with a wreath, then I skipped the pipe, clenched in the teeth. I'd leave all that out, and the breast of certain breast of new fallen snow. A lot of those I just leave out because it shortens it up a little bit because I already make it long enough by all my other messing around and making it interactive that there's parts of it and it's probably not right. I don't mean to.
That's a great idea, not to do it in its entirety as it was written. I like that idea. Now I might be able to pull something like that off.
Yeah, just and because people think, oh, Santa shouldn't smoke anyway now, so anything to do with that is so that came out anyway, and some of those things just never seem to flow on the breast of the new fallen snow. It used to jumble me up. So, but
Well,
yeah,
Randy, when the topic of Santa comes up about Santa smoking, I tell folks, yeah, Santa smokes when he's on fire.
he's hot, hot, hot. Somebody said everybody wants to sit on Santa's lap. We are hot, hot, hot.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, let's go ahead at this point. And Phineas, I think let's let you do the trivia answer. We did that last week and it worked out great. So give us the answers, the quotes and the answers to the trivia for this week, please, sir.
Okay, so once again, we needed the movie title and year for the following quotes. God bless us, everyone, and son of a nutcracker. So God bless us, everyone was a bit of a trick question. It came from A Christmas Carol, of course, and we were looking for 1938.
That's correct. And the thing about the Christmas Carol was the actual novel itself came out in the 1800s.
Yep.
And then the very first movie production was in 1938, but it was also redone in 1951. So there was, again, it was a trick question in more than one way. All right. And then the answer to our second one, Phineas?
And the other one was son of a nutcracker. Well, that is clearly Elf from 2003.
That is correct. And our winner is Angela.
Kane Smith.
Kane Smith gets
Congratulations, Kane.
the win there. Kane, your name goes into the hat for the North Pole Cornerstones scholarship drawing. It will be November 5th on the Tuesday Night Live show live. Angela will draw out of a hat all the names that we've collected from all three Thursday shows. That's including Sean White's show, Erica Minton's show, and of course, Santa Mel's Magical Fellowship show, as well as the Kringle Brothers and Monday and Tuesday shows. So we've got a lot of names. I'm going to have to use my big top hat this year. It's going to be overflowing with names. So
There's two comments if you want to catch them real quick.
what's that, Angie?
There's two comments, one from Ken
Ken
Pringle
Pringle.
on YouTube and one from Ernie.
Okay, so Ken says, Bob, learn how to make a storyboard for a book to help you learn it. Then paraphrase is needed and don't focus on word for word memorization. That is a great idea, Ken. I like that. Yeah, I never thought about doing that. That is a great tip for everyone, not just myself, but anyone who may have trouble with memorization. Ernie says there is a toy bear and mouse that tells the story of the night before Christmas. Yes, that is true. And last week we had the bear on. We didn't play him. I didn't, I should have dug mine out. I do have one. It's Build-A-Bear, as I mentioned, and it tells the story. And hey, I just sat back and laugh and point at the bear and let him do the work. And but very true.
One thing I always tell folks, if they're going to do the night before Christmas, most of the books versions that we get are the large, big books. Mm-hmm. So if you want to do it without memorizing, what you do is you print out the text big enough and you tape it to the back of the book. So you can, as you're holding the book up, you've got
reminder.
The reminder
that's exactly what I did, Phineas. I did that very same thing because each year at the mall, there's an indoor playground. And the Mesquite School Independent School District has a program where it's read, talk, and play. And they have a different class come in each year, and Santa goes down and reads a book to them. And for a number of years, it was "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" that I read, and I did the exact same thing. That way I could turn the pages, hold the book towards the children, and still see it on the back. That's a great point for everybody.
I, mean,
So
I always
therefore,
bring that book up, but there are so many wonderful stories. I mean, Bob had showed them for weeks and weeks here on Monday. There were so many wonderful stories to read. Where I just keep on bringing that up, but because I use other ones too, I always keep with me. But um, keep other ones in mind too. But it's good to have
yeah,
those cheat sheets, or not cheat sheets. Helper the guides, helper guides.
Santa's helpers. Yes,
Yeah,
Santa's.
Santa helpers. Yeah, there you go. That's a good way of putting it.
yeah. And that's a great tip, and that will lead us into Santa's tips for this week. You ready?
Yes.
Let's go.
Hello, everybody, and thank you again for joining me at Santa's Tips. I just want to take a few moments and just kind of go over, just remind you of a few tricks we've done through the year, and then also kind of send a special message out. Of course, this was a trick, and in fact, Ken Kringle, I guess Ken does this quite often. We were having fun with this one, but I showed this throughout the year. And if you have any questions, please IM me on any of these. If I show you right now and you say I don't remember that, I'll be glad to help you out. But this that Santa knows everything. But that's one thing we did, of course. Then, of course, there was Hippity Hop Santas, of course, Hippity Hop Santa and Mrs. Claus, which was a fun one to do throughout the year. They're just Hippity Hop rabbits, but they're made with Santa and Mrs. Claus. Of course, there's reindeer, but a great little fun story for definitely an elf or Mrs. Claus to do during the thing through the year. And of course, Miss Maid Santa is always the one to have fun with. Miss Maid Santa. Of course, Santa goes in the thing and he comes out. No, not head first, But I did Miss Maid Santa is always a fun trick to do during the holiday time. And of course, this was another one I did about kind of following along. It's something very easy to bring along, and it takes a few moments. You can have a helper come up, and you'll always end up at the North Pole or whatever you want to put there. But it's a fun little trick to do along the way. And of course, we did the some silk tricks I talked about with, of course, all the white of the snow and the green of a the green of a Christmas tree, and the yellow of the star, and of course Santa's suit, and of course we all know what that makes. Of course, that makes Santa. Of course, there's so many. Whoops, Santa's upside down, standing on his head. There's so many tricks we did this year to show you little things to bring along that can help bring Santa magic to life. Or that was a change bag. Of course, this is a change bag also, but in the look of a stocking. So throughout the year, there's been a lot of different ways to make Santa more magical. Again, he's not a magician, even though these are magic props. We all want to bring the magic of Santa to remember, to bring it deeper into the children's belief. So that's what I like to do. But if you have any questions, please just IM me. We've got a few weeks left before the season, so I didn't want to show you something new because it's kind of hard to learn something new now, just to refresh the few things we've shown throughout the year. But what I really want to talk about is those guys behind the camera back there that you're not seeing right at the moment. One is Bob and Angela. I hope you guys know how much work and how much effort they put into all these shows all year long. And again, I made a thing about this years ago, but they give their time free for this, so much putting this all together. And I have to give an applause to everybody that was involved in Tuesday Night Live to begin with. And of course, getting the Monday show started. Bob, Angela, of course, Scott, Santa Scott, and Ron McLam. Of course, Barry's gone. there's so many people that were, I'm sure I missed somebody there, to get things going for Tuesday Night Live and of course Monday. And then we changed it a little, and we need to thank everyone that joins us. But the vision of the guys that got together and thought of this Tuesday Night Live and then talked about Monday, and then it's just expanding Monday. It's just been priceless, hopefully for everybody. So I want to thank all that has started this Tuesday Night Live, and we're now up to 4 shows. That's crazy, 4 shows. The amount of education and the amount of dedication and the amount of love that comes out of everybody that wants to put this out. It's phenomenal. This is the best industry I've ever been a part of, when it comes to clowning, magic, ventriloquism, all that kind of stuff. It's just a great community. And you won't see this in many of the others. So again, we can't forget the sponsors that have helped things. Spangle, Talbert, Santa Closet, and a bunch of others that have been a part of it to make it, because it's not free. It's just time and effort to put it on, make a commitment, make our industry and holiday performers better. So thank you, to do 150, 100 shows, 300 shows throughout the years. And best big thank you everybody that watches, that joins us live, YouTube and everything else. My prayer about each and every one of you for being a part of this. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I just want to say thank you. I know I could have I thought about doing a confetti cannon out here and to end the show, but I just wanted to let you know how grateful I am and how thankful I am to be a part of this. We're so fortunate in this business, as we bring smiles. And what a cool job! Oh my gosh, what a cool job! Don't ever forget that. We have the coolest job in the world. If it's Santa, Mrs. Claus, or an elf, we bring smiles and memories to children that will last, as Bob said, a lifetime. And that is priceless. Don't ever forget that. Work on that daily, and I know you all folks do. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Bob, Angela, and everybody else. My prayers and thank you. All those days and all the people that sponsored, it is amazing. I mean, you guys, it's
so kind and humble. And again, this show took off when you came on board. We've got Phineas with us now. We're the ones that are blessed. Those of us in the audience, Angie and I, to work with such great professional people, not just on Monday, but Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. And you mentioned 4 shows. It's actually 6 shows on 4 nights.
Yeah, that's true.
And Scott Saratin, Santa Scott, is actually talking about adding another one, just a 30-minute program next year. We'll see if he takes the bait on that one. But either way, we will be back next year, and we're just so blessed to have everyone want to sit here and watch us yap all day. I mean, this is crazy. But our numbers are up, and we appreciate it. We couldn't do it without you guys. Couldn't do it without the sponsors. With that said, let's go ahead and jump into our last segment of the season and watch this, and then we'll close out the show shortly after that.
Hi Bob, Randyl, Mike, and Angela. Hey guys, do I have a review like no other for the Bob, Randyl and Company Season 3 finale. You guys know that this series is about what top experts are predicting to be the hottest top toys asked for by children for the 2024 Christmas season. There are so many sites and so-called experts, but I have the ultimate expert. Here at the North Pole Village I work for the big guy. Yep, Santa himself, and I went straight to the source. My question to him was simple. What has been the most popular Christmas toy? Santa replied. Well, Annabelle, nearly 80 years on, Lego is still as popular as ever with children and adults alike. Well, in my mind I have delivered more Legos than any other toy. It is a toy that girls, boys, adults, and yes, even the elves love to spend countless hours building, creating, and yes, letting their imaginations run wild with. And yes, I must admit, even I love Legos. So, with that in mind, let's get into this week's review. This Christmas season there are no doubts that the Legos Marvel series will be most popular amongst all, with so many different kits to choose from. Let's list a few, starting with one of the newest for this season. Lego Marvel Dancing Groot, Guardians of the Galaxy, Lego Marvel Avengers Iron Man, Lego Marvel Venomized Groot, Lego Spider-Man, Lego Marvel Black Panther, and the list goes on with many more. We would be here a while. My point is, and this is a direct request from Santa himself. When a child asks you for Legos, you must ask the little ones which series or character they are looking for or wanting. If they ask for Legos but in their little minds have a particular one in mind and then they end up with something else, well, let's just say mom and dad need to know what they secretly want for all the right reasons. Santa had one last thing to say. He said, "My number one favorite toy and Lego ever is Santa's sleigh, with Santa, figurine, and reindeer set. Yes, my all-time top choice, well, you see, for obvious reasons." This will be a wrap on the season, and we will be back next season for more Annabelle and our very popular series Santa's Toy Catalog. Angela, Bob, Randyl, and Mike. Phineus, you guys are the best, and from all of us at the North Pole Village, Merry Christmas, and get out there and deliver those smiles and memories to all. Back over to the four of you in the TNL studios.
Thank you, Annabella.
Thank you. Those are so cool. Those are so cool.
Yeah. Kind of getting emotional here, man. I'm kind of like Ernie. He says he's, God bless everyone. We do want to say God bless everyone. Santa Chris says, I'm just not ready for the season to end. We have other obligations. As much fun and as much as we enjoy trying to help others throughout the year, this is just something that we can't do during the season. And I think Bill Coates puts it really well. Thank you for all you do. I am so glad to have found TNL. My thoughts here would be, we've grown at TNL, and don't think that we grew as fast as I thought we would when we started this. I really thought we would kind of go viral, and with thousands and thousands of entertainers in the community, that our numbers would be a lot higher than they are. But that's okay. We're happy with where we're at. We're just thankful for what we have. And if you do like what we do on Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, tell other performers that may not know about us. We are shocked. We went to Memphis to the ISA when we were even in Gatlinburg last year, and even when we're in Branson and some of the other places that we get out as a production company, people come up and say, "Well, we didn't even know you were on air. We didn't know you did this."
Yep.
And we're shocked. I mean, we would have thought by now, after 4 seasons and some 330 something shows, that everybody would have heard of what we're doing. But again, we're humble. We're excited. And we just want to say thank you again to everyone who's watched for the last 4 seasons. Yes, we consider the Monday show only 3 seasons, only because in memory of Barry Cummins, we wanted to retire the original Monday show, which was more of a preview show, which we still do previews here, but this show has turned into so much more. And with the addition of Randy and Phineus, and with the work of Angela and Santa Scott and Spangle, and I mean, the list can go on and on and on and on. We have such great people around us. We're very lucky and very fortunate. Guys, you got any final thoughts for the season?
Well, we've got a comment from Ken in YouTube land. That Ken's comment is that we all love going to Santa School, but 1 or 2 a year is all that most can afford. So having the Tuesday night live shows keep our community together and educated for the rest of the year. He just wanted to say that he loves Bob and TNL and everybody, and he wanted to thank you all. So I echo Ken's statement. So
Thank you, Ken. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we can't all, afford to go to. We'd love to go. I'd love to go to a bunch of schools. I'm sure a lot of Santas would too. Love to go to a bunch of schools a year. Either you don't have the time or you don't have the finances, and that's what this show's about more than anything. And Tuesday Night Live is an educational show too. When you have different guests on all the time, because they're going to teach you something, and they're free for let anybody watch, and that's what's so great about it. You don't have to go to the school. We'd love to have you there. We'd love to go because that fellowship with 60, 80, 200, 500, other fellows in the business are great. But that's why we're here is to help to do this. And the commitment with the guy, I don't know how yours picture is, but he's right above me here, Bob and Angela, and all the commitment they have put into this is just phenomenal. I mean, nobody realizes how much time and effort Bob and family puts into this. It's amazing, guys. I'm impressed with, just thankful.
You mentioned, the cost of getting out to the bigger events. They do have dollar value to go to the schools and to the conventions and things. But like was mentioned, you can't everybody afford to do that. I mean, we're all on a budget of some sort at this point in our life, and many of us are on a fixed income. So those are all things that weigh heavy into the decision to start these shows. And again, it costs you nothing except your time to come here and sit and be part of and share and help us all learn as we grow in this industry that we all love so much. Thank you
Yeah,
so
I
much.
mean, yeah, going to a school is a spectacular thing. I mean, they really are. I mean, if you could somehow get to at least one a year, it would be is something. But like Bob said, we can't. Sometimes not everybody can, and that's what. And all these people have devoted their time. And Tuesday Night Live people every week you get a new guest. I mean, a new perspective, a new about the industry. But
Well, we've had some bumps in the road this year with some cancellations at the last minute. For like I said, life happens. I mean, we can't
yeah,
expect it to all be a bed of roses. It sends us in a tailspin when you've worked 2 or 3 days to put scripts together, and all of a sudden you get a phone call at the last minute and say, "Hey, so and so passed away in my family, and I can't be there. Uh, we'll reschedule for another time." And it's stressful at times too. I got to admit that I'm stressed out a lot of times when I shouldn't be, but it's because I have such passion for what we're doing, and I poured my heart and soul into this, along with everyone who's involved with it. Kane Smith says, "I'm so thankful for everything that I've learned from you guys. The camaraderie alone is worth its weight in gold. Thank you, Kane." Jerry Kyle says, "You guys are amazing." Jerry, you're amazing. We're all in this together.
yeah, that's why we have wonderful people that watch. I mean, Tuesday Night Live nights, Kringle Brothers, everybody, and Mel, phenomenal people that watch and want to grow. Um, just thank you for like Bob said, we want more, but hey, we're thankful for and blessed for what we have.
And TNL Network and TNL Productions and the Tuesday Night Live show, the Monday show, all these shows, again, you're a part of them. You are what makes these. We could sit here and ramble on amongst ourselves and it would just be us. I mean, but we want to take what we know, our experience, our learning, what we've learned from you guys as much as you've learned from us. We've learned from you. I mean, you share scenarios and things that happen that helps us even. And that's what it's all about, is to help each other. Just remember, be kind, love your fellow man, build him up, don't tear him down. Phineas, thank you. Randy, thank you. Angela, thank you. Thank you to everyone. Hey, man, before I start crying, we got to get out of here. So love you, everybody. We'll let you know when we're going to open the season up for all the shows. Thank you so much for being a part of what we do.
Thank you, everyone.
You.
Love you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hoping everybody has a happy and healthy holiday season. Take care.